Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened there. I've just deleted some videos off my phone, so hopefully the video doesn't get interrupted again. But yeah, I want to dive into the job hunt. So where am I at with applying for jobs? Because I did get a job rejection from an apprenticeship that I applied for. Because basically I've applied for 3. So I've applied for 2 in London and 1 not far from where I live. And the problem is I can't remember my password for my second email. So I can't get into my email and I can't actually see, the response from the apprenticeships I've applied for. And then when I looked into the website that I applied for apprenticeships, it basically said unsuccessful, and I clicked on it because obviously I needed to know which one, and obviously it said the one that I applied for, which is not far from me, and I was just like, okay, it's not meant to be, and that's it. It's very competitive and it's really hard to get an apprenticeship, and a lot of people are applying, and I don't feel like every single person that's applying is really the right person for an apprenticeship, or actually wants to do it. I feel like that's just really my viewpoint, not everyone applying for apprenticeships is smart, or has the work ethic, right? So, yeah, I'm still waiting to hear back from the 2 apprenticeships that I applied for in London, because the closing date is still a while. So, the closing date for them both is in September. And one of them starts on the 24th. So that's another 6 weeks, right? Which is a long time to wait. But, it's like, what choice do I really have? I definitely feel like I'm on the brink of finding an apprenticeship. And I'm on the brink of, being successful, right? And starting my career. And I truly feel like there's no other job that I would want to do than, work in the office, basically. And some people do feel that not working 9 to 5 is boring, but, you have to do something, right? And, like I just said, I just can't really imagine myself working any other job. And, of course I don't want to work in retail for the rest of my life, or hospitality, right? It's not what I want to do. And I feel like there's more to life than that, So, if you've done a certain job and it's not really working out, then you shouldn't do that job anymore. And I feel like I've had too many issues with management in the past, specifically in retail, and when I was working in fast food as well, and they're just very disrespectful, just because you're a manager, I don't care, I don't care at all, you're not above me, right? At the end of the day, God is the one in charge, right? God is above every single person in this world, not you, right? So I don't subscribe to this, just having to, basically bow down to your manager. I don't. I was watching this show, I've been watching Below Deck, thought I would mention it. I wish I mentioned it sooner. If you haven't watched it, it's basically where people work on a yacht and they film it and things happen, and the guests are very demanding and, you know, disrespectful at times. And it's like, I really do enjoy watching it, but it's just kind of like, I feel like I'm one of them people that I want to be my own boss, which I know is really hard, but I do, you know, like I just genuinely, I don't see myself working for someone for the rest of my life. That's just not my destiny, you know, or my desire. I feel like even though not having a job is really tough financially and mentally, you know, it is really nice to feel like I don't have a horrible boss in my ear. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's positives and negatives really. But I've just always had that, you know, mentality and way of being that I've just never really got along with, you know, the managers and the jobs I was working in. And yeah, I'll never forget. I feel like I should mention it. I'm gonna mention it, especially because, you know, I've not spoke about it before, and this is a new channel. I was working in a shop, like, a year, like, how long ago was this? I think last year, in June. Yeah, it was in June. It was only part-time, so it was not, you know, I was literally working 2 days. And I'll never forget how rude the manager was. Like, she was really disrespectful. And I decided to leave basically, but before I did, she was just nitpicking, you know, because when you work in a shop, you stock the shelf and you work on the till, right? It's very straightforward, you know, anyone can do that, right? I think the challenging part is dealing with the customers, right? And I don't subscribe to this rhetoric that customers are always right. I really don't. I think they're wrong, and I think they're arseholes, right? Like, some of them are, you know? And it's like, that's the thing, you know, some customers think they can just be rude to you and get away with it. That's it, and I don't agree with that, right? I'll never forget when I was working in Tesco, actually, and this woman, don't get me started, right? I want to mention this because I've not mentioned it before. I feel like it's important I do. So I started November 2024 and my contract finished in December 2024 because I was only hired as a Christmas temp, and there was a possibility that they might keep me on, but it wasn't guaranteed. And basically, this woman, I was on the computer doing my training, and this customer came up to me. She was asking, have we got this certain size for her daughter for clothing? I said, I'm going to check for you. I went to go check. They said, no, we don't have it in stock. And there's no other Tesco's, you know, nearby that also have it in stock. None of them do, right? I said, okay, I'm going to tell her. I went to go tell her. She started kicking off. Yeah, she was very, very vile. Said, that's not true. That's not true. Yeah? I should have said to her in the moment, don't talk to me like that. Yeah? Don't talk to me like that. Because I'm a human being. Yeah? I'm not your slave. And I'm not an animal. So don't talk to me like that. Yeah? The thing is, guys, it's like, you have to put people in their place, and I just really wish I said that to her, I just think, poor me, you know, like, I just genuinely feel like I've gone through so much with, you know, bad customers, right, in all these jobs where they've just been out to get me, you know. She wanted to start arguing with me, right, when it's like, just go away, you know, just go away. I don't give a shit, you know what I mean, just go away, yeah, go away. I wish I said that to her, you know. And if you want to carry on going back and forth with me, I'm going to carry on going back and forth with you, yeah. Because until you actually say to someone, don't talk to me like that, then they realise that you're not a pushover, right? That you're not just going to tolerate it, right? That really angered me, guys. It really upset me how she spoke to me. And I think, wow, what kind of effing mother are you? You are effing disgrace, you know? To go into a shop and argue with a person working there because they haven't got your daughter's size clothing. Get a grip, mate. Get an effing grip. Yeah? You need to get a grip. So, anyway, I do feel like I'm going to just say this, and this is my opinion, certain nationalities are very rude as well. I've noticed that, you know, like, do you know what I mean? I've definitely noticed that. You know, I feel like it's the truth. You know, I've never ever walked into a shop and just been rude to a person working there because I feel like it. Yeah, I've never done that, because you are a scumbag if you do that, right? You know, but with the manager, when I was working in basically the co-op, I'm just gonna say it because I don't care. You know, it's not a big deal. The manager there, I was like, is there even point talking about it? But she's an asshole, and she was like, she was just nitpicking. Like, one time I was putting, you know, they have big cages of, you know, food that they're putting out, like the delivery, and there was a customer coming to the fridge, so I stopped what I was doing, and the manager was like, oh, why'd you put that there? I said, there was a customer there. Yeah? She went, oh, you still shouldn't put it there. Yeah, I should have said to her in the moment, just do one. Yeah? Do one. That's it. Do one. Yeah? That's the thing, guys. I'm so grateful to God I'm away from all these negative assholes, you know? Like, and I don't care who you are, right? She's not even English, you know, you're foreign, you've come to this country, you know, you work in a shop, like, you've not done very well for yourself, yeah? I don't care, guys, because this is my opinion, and I'm entitled to it, yeah? Like, you have no right, whether you're foreign or not, to talk to me like that. And I gave her a piece of my mind, because and another time I'm putting something in the freezer, and she's like, oh, are you sure? I was, you know, and she was like, oh, are you sure that goes there? I should have said, just go away, mate. I should have said, leave me alone. Yeah? Leave me alone. Yeah? Go find something to do, go find a hobby, but don't pick on me. Yeah? That's it. And then when I decided to quit the job, which is my choice, I had so much backlash from my family. But then the day I'm meant to be working, I've got on the train, I've travelled to somewhere else, right? And that's my choice, right? I have the freedom to go wherever I like, whenever I like, yeah? And basically, she rung me, but I was talking to someone, and then she rung my mum, right? I thought, wow. And I rung the shop, I was furious, right? I was absolutely furious. I said, do you think it's appropriate to ring my mother, yeah? I'm not 5 years old. Do you think that's appropriate? She instantly said to me, don't get aggressive with me. I said, don't call me aggressive. Don't call me aggressive, you asshole. I put her in her place. I said straight away, don't call me aggressive. Yeah? And I carried on and I said, you might want to think about how you treat your staff. Yeah? Who do you think you are? Who do you actually think you are? You're nobody. You know, I don't care you're foreign or not. You happen to be foreign. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Wow, you're a manager. Well done. Well done to you. But you're also an arsehole. You know? So that's what I'm saying, guys. I feel like, you know, that's why I'm trying to, like, this will just carry on if I continue working in these jobs, right? Which is why I'm trying really hard to get an apprenticeship, right? Do you know what I mean? I'm trying really hard because I don't want to put up with this anymore, yeah? I don't want to put up with this, and, you know, I feel like that's it. Really, I just feel like it's just them abuse, like, management just abuse their power, right? That's really it. And yeah, it's like, it's the truth. Really. And I feel like I don't know, I kind of feel like that's everything I wanted to say in terms of the job hunt, you know, like, I'm sure something will come, but this is where I'm at, right? Like, it's still taking a long time to get an apprenticeship, and, you know, there's not really much I could do. You know, I do feel like I need to prepare for interviews more, but that's it, you know. That's all you can really do. But I also feel that I feel like working in this charity shop's been really good, but I do want to say that a few things have been going on that I feel like it's made me kind of want to leave. Something happened last Monday in the shop where a man was arrested. I thought, what the hell? And he had his dog with him. It was like a whole thing, and it's just like, it's just, I don't know, it just seems like there seems to be trouble in this charity shop. And the manager yesterday, I feel like she was very disrespectful towards me, like, because she was saying that we need to move some jumpers, right? And she was like, oh, do you not know what a sweatshirt is? And she, like, stood there and was, like, proper annoyed and, like, really humiliated me. And I thought, in that moment, I felt very upset, and that made me feel really bad and, like, low. And I just thought, I wanted to leave, basically, really, you know. Like, when you work in a charity shop, guys, you're not getting money. Yeah, you're not getting paid for it. You're a volunteer. So you're taking time out your day to help the charity, right? So when she was like, you know, when she was really annoyed that I didn't know what a sweatshirt is, I just thought, you need to get a grip, you know? You need to get a grip. And to be honest, guys, I should have just gone home. because like everything was fine up until that point, but I've noticed this manager's very snappy. Like, you know, she's very snappy and she's quite rude, you know, and it's like, if I'm not doing something correctly in your world, then do it yourself. Don't have a go at me. You know, she was having a go at me, you know, and I just thought, that's very, very rude, you know, it's very wrong, and that's my opinion. So basically, I've decided that I'm just gonna leave, and that's it. Like, I'm gonna send her a message tomorrow and just say, look, you know, I'm just gonna say that, like, basically, I don't want to work there anymore, even though it's charity work. Like, I feel like I need to make something up, but it doesn't, you know. I was talking about this with my mum, because we're talking again, and she was like, I think you should leave, you know, it's not okay to humiliate people. You know, there were other customers around, and you want to have a go at me because I'm doing, you know, she thinks that I don't know what a sweatshirt is, you know. Like, I just think what she did was wrong, and I feel like it's the best thing to leave, you know. That's it. There are other charity shops out there, you know, in the town, you know, where I'm living. Like, I'll find another charity shop to work in. That it's not the end of the world, you know. So even though this was a nice experience to, you know, volunteer in this charity shop, and I bought some really nice things, like this shirt the manager gave me for free, and she gave me some sandals for free as well. You know, I feel like it's just best to move to a different charity shop, basically, because when you start humiliating me, then I'm out, you know. Like, I don't care who you are, right? Like I said before, guys, you know, unless you live under a rock, everyone knows that when you work in a charity shop, you're not getting paid for it. So there's no reason that you should be having a go at me or upsetting me, right? Like, I have the mentality that if you're a manager and a staff member or volunteer is doing something, you know, not correctly in your world, then do it yourself. Don't have a go at the person. Like, the way she talks about other staff is very rude as well, you know. Like, she just doesn't seem like a happy person, you know. Like, she never seems happy. So, yeah, I thought I'd say that this has, like, come to an end working there. And I feel like it's really for the best. And, you know, like I said, I'm going to find another charity shop that I can work in. So, yeah, I mean, things happen for a reason, really. And there just seems to be a lot of trouble. Like, even they've got, like, a back garden, and apparently this couple, which is very wrong, they were coming inside the garden. I don't know what they were doing, putting rubbish in the bin, or I'm not sure, something like that, something to do with rubbish. And I thought, what is that even about, you know? It just seems to be too many weird things going on there, basically. You know, so even though it has been really nice talking to the people, you know, volunteering there, I feel like my time's come to an end, really. And I just want to find, you know, because my goal was to stay there till I find a job, but since she humiliated me yesterday morning, then, you know, that just made me feel really low and really upset. And I don't think she understands and knows that, you know, how she made me feel. So, yeah, I feel like do you know what? It's a nice thing to do. Like, it's it's good to volunteer, especially when you're not working. But I do feel like certain managers, like some managers expect too much, you know, and they want things to be perfect, right? When, like I said, if something's not being done correctly in your world, then do yourself. You know what I mean?